So this is when we're prepping the area to start the ModStone. We taped off the base. We took off the wall sconces. Taped up the receptacles just to make sure we don't get adhesive anywhere. Then we start measuring. We start by measuring the whole wall and finding the center, figuring out the best way to lay out the panels based on their size and their position, orientation. Then after we get our size, we start measuring the width of our panels and the length of our panels. We pre-cut them with snips, a high-quality pair of snips, in order to be placed on the wall. Then we start using a mastic thin set, and you spread it on the wall with a small V-notch trowel with your notch marks going horizontally. This would help to hold it once it dries, kind of like a ledge, instead of notching it vertically. Then we test fit our piece on the wall to make sure it's where we want it, taking careful measures to make sure it goes on our pre-made marks so that it's positioned exactly where we want it, so the next panel fits correctly. After we install the panel, we rule it with a ruler. We used a 9-inch paint ruler to help get out any air bubbles, but I'm sure there's other tools you could use for this application. You do the same process for the remaining panels, taking careful consideration to hit your marks where you're planning on it for it to be, checking the top, making sure you're not going past your trim, and if you're not removing the base on the bottom, making sure it's in the right position on the bottom. If it needs trimmed, you can use a razor knife, something a little more quality than a box cutter, something a little more heavy duty. Same process here. We are spreading the mastic vertically with a V-notch trowel. You can see we cut out the receptacles down low around the stone, and you can do that with snips or a razor knife, utility knife. You can see after we cut our piece, we test fit it to make sure it's going to work before we start applying the adhesive to the wall. And you don't have to use a mastic or a thin set adhesive. In my test, that's what worked the best. Other options would be like a liquid nail or a FRP liquid nail or a high quality power grab product or Loctite product. But you want to notch trowel it. That'll give you the best adhesion, because even though the panels are a lot less weight than stone, they are still heavy. They're a lot heavier than, let's say, a wallpaper, so you can't use like a wallpaper glue. Here we're fitting our last panel in, and we're going to wrap the inside corner. We didn't pre-cut it because if the corner's not 100% square, which I would say almost all the time they're not, it's going to be hard to pre-cut that. So once we get it up and we cut the wall sconce out and the receptacles out, we're forcing it into the corner with a straight edge while the other person's cutting it. Doing something like this by yourself on an accent wall this size would be kind of difficult. It just helps to have the second set of hands. Doing the ModStone on a backsplash, I think you would be able to accomplish it by yourself. So when we're all done, we make sure everything's right. We re-rolled all the walls twice, and then you clean up your seams, make sure there's no adhesive anywhere, pull your tape, put the furniture back, done.